Hey everybody, I'm back here with my truck. I got some issues. I got an 18 F150, had it since then, brand new. It's got about 55,000 miles on it. New set of tires. I rotate them at every 10K to get life out of them. Anyways, last time I was at the dealer, they said they had an issue getting my nuts off. I'm like, what's the problem? It says, well, they're swollen and you know, you need to replace them. I'm like, okay. So didn't give it a second thought. I never thought about replacing the lug nuts because the last truck I had was an 05, had 200K on it and didn't have any problem with the lug nuts. Well, apparently Ford changed their design in the lug nuts to a two-piece design where you can see right here, this is the inside of the nut. It's solid, but then you have this chrome cap that goes on top of it. So it's a two-piece nut, but it's not welded together. And what happens over time, not necessarily due to driving or anything you do, it's the idea of using an impact gun to take them off and on all the time when you're changing your tires. So what happens is people say the nuts get swollen. Well, yes and no, they don't get swollen. What happens is this nut right here, this piece, as you can see, it's loose because it's not welded to the inner nut, because it's not solid. Well, every time you put a gun on this thing and wrench it one way or the other, it torques just a little bit. And what happens is if you take these nuts and you cut them in half, you'll see that the flat part of the outer nut is not aligned with the flat part of the inner nut. What happens is the nut gets, the outer nut or the shell gets loose, turns a little bit, and now the flat part of the outer nut is sitting on top of the ridge or the edge of the inner nut, which gives the impression it's swollen. Well, so that's kind of a problem, because what happens is if I take my lug wrench here, which comes with the truck, and I can put it on this nut, the inner nut, it's loose, so that's no good. Now if I try to put it on the existing nut, it only goes on maybe about 1/8 of an inch, and there's no way I'll be able to torque that thing off. And I check the different nuts in here, going on maybe about 1/8, maybe about 1/8, 3/16. 3/16. I might be able to torque that one off if I take a hammer and beat it on. This one's the same way. So I went around the entire truck and I'm like, shit, they're all messed up. So I went online and ordered some new nuts through American Truck. There's different types of them. I got the chrome solid one piece, 24 nuts to a pack. They're about 45 bucks, but they're solid one-piece nuts, so you don't have to worry about them expanding and contraction. Now, these nuts that you come with, they're the, if you see that there, factory style Ford 13/16, that's the socket for an M14 1.5. Okay, so if I take my 13/16 socket here, slip it on there, nice tight fit, the way it's supposed to be. Now if I take the 13/16, which is supposed to fit this nut, it goes on about the same as my lug wrench, okay? Other people have said, no, it's a 21 millimeter socket. Okay, so here's a 21 millimeter socket. It goes on there, but it is really loose. It's not tight. You can see the wobble in it, even though it's the same style of six slots. It's still very loose. So I'm gonna, because I can't get the 13/16 on here about the same depth as my lug wrench, I'm gonna have to try to get these things off with my impact. So hopefully I can do that. We'll try one here. Whoop. Need an adapter. My bad. See if I can get it off. that didn't work. Ain't going nowhere. Probably because these mechanics in the Ford dealer cranked it down so much. So let me try another one here, see if I can get it off. This impact, half-inch impact, I think it goes up to about 120 pounds, foot-pounds. I know the factory spec on these torque and these things is 150. Well, that didn't work either. So, I'm gonna have to get a big, get my torque wrench out because it's about 2.5 foot long. I'm gonna probably use that just to show you what I can and can't do with a lug wrench. Let me see if I can get this lug wrench on here. No, that's not even going on enough. You know, that I can even get any bite on the thing to do a turn. Maybe that, nope, that one right there in the bottom got a little bit. You can see the threads are, it's not on far enough. It only goes about maybe 13/16, not going far enough on there to do any good. So now the fun begins. This really sucks. I can't believe Ford has this design. They haven't recalled these things. I had a flat about a month or so ago driving down the road. One of my rears ran over some junk. Fortunately, my lug wrench was able to fit those nuts and I was able to take the tire off and get it changed. But since that time, I've had new tires put on and obviously the mechanics torqued these things and twisted them all out again, so they're all screwed up. So with that being said, I'm going to go get a torque wrench, see if I can use that one socket there, the 21, see if I can get these things off. So hang tight. Okay, I'm back. I got my torque wrench. I got it cranked down to 150 pounds. So hopefully that should be able to crank these things off. Now I am using a 21 millimeter socket, unlike the 13/16, which it actually calls for with the new nuts. As you can see, it's a nice tight fit the way it's supposed to be, no wobble or anything like that in there. That's how it's supposed to be. So let me see if I can loose this thing up here. Well, that one came off pretty easy. Once I got it going, there we go. So that spins right off real nice and easy there. And you can see that it fits into 21 really good. But you can see if you look at the edges on this thing, it's kind of hard to tell with the camera and all that. But they are kind of rounded. And in the middle here, if you run your finger across these flat spots, it's actually raised up. So that means the outer shell of this two-piece nut has turned probably 10, 20 degrees, whatever, where the ridges on the outer side are not lining up with the interior, and same with the flat part, and they're rounded, their corners are being rounded in here, and there's a little ridge in the middle now. So I'm just going to go through and repeat the process here now that I have one taken off. Let me see if I can get this next one off. That break in my socket. Okay, so there's number 2. Okay. Yeah, that might be an issue. Okay, so got it out, but I'm probably going to have to, now it's kind of jammed in there because it is twisted a little bit because I'm using an odd size socket to take it off. But I don't know if I can whack it off. There we go. But this one's a little more loose. You can see the movement in it, back and forth, and that's what causes the swollen effect. So nothing like having swole nuts, as they say, but you can see how it moves back and forth, and that's why these the flat part goes over the interior ridge, and the ridge goes over the flat part, and it gives the impression they're swollen, but it's actually they're deformed. They're just fucked up. So when I look at my new nut here, I don't have that issue. It's solid one piece. So with that being said, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to do a couple at a time. Because I don't want to jack the tires up and all that stuff. But I'm going to take take this one over here, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opposites and get them all replaced. Do one wheel at a time. Go to the next one and throw these things away. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. It's just some kind of a public service announcement because Ford ain't doing shit about it, which really irritates me. When as much as you pay for a truck and warranty and it's not covered under warranty, there's no recall, there's no class action lawsuit, etc. So go online, get some solid one-piece some lug nuts. I got mine through American Truck Products online for $45 for 24 of them. Great deal. It's probably going to take me maybe a half hour, an hour to change all these things out. I'll start using my impact on them now instead of once I break them free, then I'll just use my impact to suck them all off and put the impact on, and then tighten them all up. Then torque them down using my torque wrench to 150 psi. And double check them with my lug wrench to make sure they're all good to go. And then, as you always know, whenever you do your nuts off and on, probably check them after 100 miles and make sure nothing's loosened up. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoy the video, and take care. Thanks.